From the outside, every developer looks same, right? ये भी project लगा रहा है, ये भी project लगा रहा है, ये भी बिजली दे रहा है, ये भी बिजली दे रहा है, right? पेपर पे कोई 3 रुपए दे रहा है, कोई 3 रुपए 20 पैसे दे रहा है. How will, like, that confuses the mind, right? So how will you shortlist? How did you do it? And what would you advise?
Even though in India at that time these norms were not so stringent or the government was not making it mandatory, but we knew that either today or tomorrow it is going to come in India also.
During these, abhi it should be around 14 years this project is set up. Tell me exact top 2 burning problems that you faced with respect to this project. Cleaning नहीं हो रही या फिर monitoring नहीं हो रही. Like what is something that drains you? How do you monitor it?
हम कहते हैं 5 भूत, right? That आकाश, जल, अग्नि, वायु. तो इसमें से जो है आकाश आपके हाथ में नहीं है और अग्नि आपके हाथ में नहीं है.
Okay.
इसलिए आप उसका कुछ नहीं कर पाए.
Okay.
But other 3 you had done your best to spoil it. The developer has to have a long-term sustainability. Developer has to have a long-term sustainability.
Which means क्या?
Which means
पैसा होना चाहिए balance sheet?
No, वो गुब्बारा नहीं होना चाहिए. कि
Renewable energy goals or cost saving goals? Which one would you pick?
renewable energy goals. Otherwise, we may get even blacklisted.
Welcome to today's episode of Sustainability Leaders with Gaurav Kawatra. Today, we have Mr. Sanjeev Singla, Chief Business Strategy Officer at Polyplastic Limited. Polyplastic Limited is India's leading automotive company, have 8 plants across the country, and they have customers like Maruti, Tata Motors. Mr. Singla has over 34 years of experience in the industry, and he is the one who led this organization in their renewable energy goals. Here are the facts. They have 8 plants across the country, 3.2 crore units they are consuming from the grid, and today they're at 19% renewable energy level, saving almost 2 crore rupees per annum. And with a commitment to reach 50% by 2027, this is a must-watch episode for you for 3 reasons. He broken down the concept of scientifically shortlisting the open access developer. And trust me, if you don't get this, you will regret it. Second, he mentioned beautifully that how you are at a risk of getting blacklisted, wherein 65 to 70% of your revenue is at risk if you don't meet your renewable energy goals. Do watch this section. And third, he was consistently talking about keeping environment first and saving second. Watch this. He has beautifully decoded all these concepts throughout this podcast. And if you found value, I request that you like the episode, subscribe to my channel so that you can get the renewable energy updates real time, and you have access to podcasts like this on a real time, and you watch the leaders who have already walked that path so that they can inspire you, they can decode your renewable energy challenges and give you a solution. Mr. Singla, welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for your time. 8 projects, 8 plants across the country, 3.2 crore units, 19% replaced through renewable energy, and enjoying 2 crore rupees savings per annum through renewable energy. How are you feeling?
We are feeling elated, but the reason of feeling elated is not only the cost saving or the money alone. We have been a company who has been very passionate about the environment and safety, and that has remained one of our business policy, that our business should not spoil the environment, and we should do our best to conserve the water, conserve energy, conserve reduce the waste, and anything which is detrimental to the Earth's atmosphere.
But Mr. Singla, tell me, in a real situation,
Yeah.
in your organization,
Yeah.
how did this idea seeded? Like, what was that exact moment when you decided, chalo, solar karte hai, rooftop karte hai, open access
Right.
karte hai?
Right.
But how did it happen? Did you see any ad? Did you see someone doing it? Or how did it seeded?
No, we took the first initiative ourselves.
Okay.
That was
Matlab kaise? Can you walk me through that moment?
Yeah, that was this, that in 2010 we had only 2 plants. One was Yamunanagar and second was Pune. And somehow at that time the solar energy, the rooftop solutions were picking up in India.
Right.
It was at a very, very nascent and very initial stage.
Right.
That time even the pricing and other things were also not very favorable. But our managing director and the family, they had this passion that we should do something to conserve this one, to reduce our carbon footprints.
Okay.
So that was their self-initiative that, okay, let us start with one plant. And then this was the moment then when we installed the first 100 kilowatt plant in Yamuna.
Back in 2010.
Back in 2000.
So you must be the first early mover kind of player in your industry, right?
We were the early movers in that.
Okay.
And that time, thereafter, our plant started getting multiplied.
Right.
And in parallel, I say the information has started getting flown from the market that there are a lot of ESG norms which are going to be applicable in India also.
Right.
And at first instant, they were made applicable in Europe. From Europe, they moved to US. Even though in India at that time, these norms were not so stringent, or the government was not making it mandatory. But we knew that either today or tomorrow, it is going to come in India also. So it was this moment, and then we started thinking that why don't we start working on our ESG compliances?
Right.
And rather than the social and governance, we started giving more emphasis on the environment. So when I talk about the environment, there are the three major factors which comes in that.
Right.
One is that how you can convert your energy into the green energy.
Absolutely.
Number two is how you can conserve water.
Right.
And third was that how you can ensure that you are able to reduce the waste generation inside your plants.
Absolutely.
And then go for some sort of method by which the waste do not go into the landfills.
Right.
That go into some use.
Right.
This means that was waste to wealth concept.
Right.
So these were the only the concern about environment that has propelled us to take these actions. That was only
Sir,
thing.
tell me.
Yeah.
You are a commercial guy.
Yeah.
34 years.
That's right.
Right. So when this seeded 100 kilowatt and now, probably around 3.5 megawatt, roughly multiple plants you have done rooftop.
Yeah.
Like being a commercial guy, you would have always thought about numbers, right? So how was that cost savings picture coming into picture?
When we installed the first plant, at that time the cost saving was not there in our mind.
Okay.
It was only what I say the initiative that we should do something.
Right.
But we also realized that when we install the rooftop solutions in solar power,
right,
your operation cost is almost minimum.
Absolutely.
Your operation cost is almost minimum.
Right.
Only it is the capital investment which you have to bear.
Right.
And we also were able to anticipate that in the longer run, once this momentum of the PV cells will pick up in India, the costs are going to drop.
Right.
They are going to come down. So we started working on the rooftop solutions first. And we knew that the saving will come. Maybe my ROI will be late.
कितना पैसा लगाया था आपने 100 किलोवाट के लिए?
100 किलोवाट के लिए शायद उस वक्त हमारे पास जो है that was in the range of 45,000 per kilowatt.
2010 में.
2010 में.
And कितना टाइम का पे बैक ROI था?
That ROI came to us in 7 or 8 years.
7-8 years.
8 years में आ गया था.
So what are the challenges that you faced? Project लगाया, right? Most of the things were done. But during these, it should be around 14 years this project is set up. Tell me exact top 2 burning problems that you faced with respect to this project.
See, burning...
कि cleaning नहीं हो रही या फिर monitoring नहीं हो रही. Like what is something that drains you? How do you monitor it so that people who are watching this can smartly understand कि क्या burning problems है?
See, the major problem is that when you go into the rooftop solution or solution, because in PPA this type of problem do not come because it is their responsibility.
Right.
But when you go for the rooftop solution, you have to go to a
you mean capex mein, right? In the capex structure.
With the capex in the capex model, so you have to go with the single window system.
Right.
If you'll buy the equipment from some person and give the maintenance responsibility to the second person, that will not work. Right. So this means whether you are going for a capex based model,
right,
or you are going for the opex based model,
right,
you have to be very sure that what should be included in your agreements, in your purchase order.
Very good point. Very good.
In your purchase order.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you are clear right in the beginning and you have the agreement which is balanced, means the supplier and the consumer,
Right.
both are equal partner in that.
Right.
If you will make a one-sided
So
agreement,
agreement हो गया.
हाँ.
So tell me operational challenges. that you
Operational
face.
challenges after
any
that-
one two operational challenges.
only one or
या
two.
लग गया तो अब चलता रहेगा.
no, ऐसा नहीं था.
ऐसा नहीं था. Okay,
You
tell
have
me.
to do the monitoring.
Like
Like
what do you
that-
do? What does Mr. Singla
when
do
you- when-
every month?
Every month, what is there? We are preparing a MIS data.
Okay.
That what was the guaranteed generations,
Right.
which the a particular supplier has given us. Of course, it is on the basis of 15 years. Even if you are putting up the plant yourself.
Okay.
So we are monitoring those on monthly basis.
Okay.
Whether it is falling within those parameters or not.
Okay.
if
And
they-
what are those parameters?
those parameters that can be the kilowatt energy is being produced in that much of quantity or not.
Okay.
See,
so the estimated energy
estimated energy
versus the actual energy.
Versus the
so this is the
actual
number one
energy.
metric that you track.
This is the number of material. And
Okay.
in each and every agreement, we had gone for the penalty clause both ways. If we were not be able to consume the energy, in case of OPEX it is there, but in
Right.
case of CAPEX, it is simple that if the energy produced is lesser than what he has specified right in the beginning,
Absolutely.
so he has to give us the differential back. And that differential is normally, it is the landed tariff of the DESCOM minus the energy which we are producing, so that he will pay us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when this type of restriction is there on the supplier, so he will ensure that the energy is delivered to you in the long term basis and in a proper manner.
Okay.
But the catch is this, that if you give the maintenance the responsibility to somebody else, then that person will be out of picture. So
Okay.
you should not do it.
Okay.
The
so
sup-
what does that conclude? Matlab, what
That,
does
that concludes that the person who has supplied you this equipment, keep him engaged along
Okay.
with you for on the long term basis.
How? Like OPEX, I understand. You have contractual.
In case of CAPEX also it is the same thing.
Like how did you 100 kilowatt was capex?
100
How did you
kilowatt
keep that guy engaged with you?
that is we gave him the maintenance contract.
Fair enough. Let's say the maintenance contract value is how much?
If I talk about in terms of money,
Huh.
it was not much. It was 70,000 to 1 lakh rupee for the regular cleaning.
Which is for a month or a year?
No, this is for full year.
So 80-90 हजार
80-90 हजार पे आपको जो है मतलब you have to give for the cleaning of
Right, right.
because अगर a cleaning, if you wanted to do the cleaning yourself probably you will not be able to do it.
But 80-90 हजार पे can you make someone accountable?
So
In a
he is
year.
accountable because
How?
Because he has to
Let's
deliver.
say the generation comes down to 80%.
So if generation comes down to 80% and if it is beyond the degradation factor,
Okay.
because there is a degradation
Right.
gradation factor
Right.
in this,
Then?
if the generation comes below that, then he will get penalized. He has to pay back the money to me.
Okay.
Right. So it is in his interest that at least the equipment which he has supplied is able to deliver the estimated energy which he has promised at the time of taking the order.
Okay.
So that was in CAPEX. What we had done is this.
Okay.
That work in the single
But
window system.
it is the same guy who did the construction as well.
He is the same guy who was given the order to this one construct and install the plant.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Understood.
And it is obvious
Right.
that if you are going for this type of agreement, you have to be very careful that which supplier you choose, or because if the supplier is not committed, because then you will not be able to do anything. He can fold his hands after 5 years.
Right.
After 5 years, then you will end up with that either you do it yourself or
Right.
the somebody else has to do.
Okay.
So to avoid that situation, we had tried that this one whatever the solar power plant we will be installing. It's the supplier should have the great or good credentials.
Okay.
So
Understood.
that was the main thing.
Okay. So this is one, like you have customers who are like $1 billion organization, number one brand in the country, like
Right.
Maruti, Tata Motors. They're very conscious that about the environment. They have to report. So do you get pressure or do you get inputs from your customers as well to push you go green? Can you walk me through case study that Maruti has told, okay, Polyplastics,
Let me-
it's time for you to go green.
yeah.
Otherwise, मैं तुम्हारा माल नहीं खरीदूंगा.
Let me-
नहीं, I'm just giving extreme scenario. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me explain. ESG compliance, when the government is talking about, so government in the first step, they made it mandatory for the first 10 listed companies in India based on their
This is ESG, right?
This is ESG.
Which is another driver.
But ESG also cover the solar energy.
Okay.
They do not have the target that you put the solar energy. They do not give the target in terms of that.
Right.
They are giving the target in terms of this, that you have to this one reduce your carbon footprints to 50%. Right. You have to go the net zero in water.
Right.
Net zero in water.
Absolutely.
And you have to go the net zero in the landfill.
Okay.
So let me explain one by one.
Okay,
When
good.
you talk about the reduction in the carbon footprint, so they had given the target that by 2030,
They means
all the customers, our
Okay.
customers,
Your customers
our customers,
have given you a target,
they had given us the target,
which is
that can be by 2030, and that target is aligning with the government directions. Even though it is not implemented on 100% of the industry, but automotive OEMs, they had made it mandatory for all their suppliers that they have to abide by these guidelines,
Okay.
irrespective whether he falls in that category or not. So this
otherwise,
means-
if not,
if not, then they will stop giving you the business.
oh,
They
okay.
will stop giving you the
This
business.
is interesting. And these automotive suppliers, like there are Indian automotive suppliers,
Yeah.
there are American automotive suppliers,
Exactly
there
the
are
same.
European automotive suppliers.
Right.
So all three categories have the similar mindset, or
They have the
with
similar-
respect to
they
the
have-
renewable energy.
They have the similar mindset, but the European this one customers, they had already started taking the action that if the supplier is not green compliance, so they are hesitating in giving him the business.
Okay.
So they had already started. So considering this, that maybe this target is given to us by 2030. So we took our internal target that by 2027 we should be able to achieve these targets.
Okay.
The first target is that we had estimated that how much energy will be required in 2027.
Okay.
And 50% of that has to come from the renewable energy.
So that's the first target.
That is the first target.
2027.
Yeah.
Okay.
2027, the 50% of that energy will come from the renewable sources.
Okay.
Second,
Otherwise, the orders you will have a hard time taking orders.
otherwise, we may get even blacklisted.
Is it?
We may.
You
even-
mean blacklisted?
Yes, because they will say that it is not possible for us to give you the business because you are not ESG compliance. So let us not this one. I say consider the solar only as one entity. Solar is very strongly related with the ESG compliance. Why? What are your carbon footprints? Carbon footprints are then direct and indirect both.
Absolutely.
Right? Direct is that what you are contributing in terms of the carbon being generated.
Right.
Now, when I talk about that, what you are generating, my direct input is what? My direct inputs are only two: the energy I consume, electricity, and second is the power and fuel.
Right.
Right.
Singla sir, I need to know more about this being blacklisted,
Yeah.
right? But this is a very burning problem.
Yeah.
So let's say you have 4 top customers who contributes how much percentage of your revenue? 40, 50?
Four customers will contribute to approximately 65 to 70%.
65 to 70%. So what you are saying is if by 2027 you don't reach 50,
By 2030.
by 2030, if you don't reach 50,
Yeah.
minimum 50%,
Yes.
so your 65-70% of the business is at risk.
Is at risk. Is at risk because it becomes their prerogative. Because if somebody else is there who is ESG compliance and Polyplastic
And
is not,
this is something that they have officially communicated to you.
this is officially communicated, but not in writing.
Understood.
As of now, they have not told that what they will do. But what I feel is it will be a benchmarking. Suppose if there 70% of the suppliers will do it, and if I am not able to do it, so they will prefer the business to those 70% suppliers.
Okay.
Why they should give the business to us?
Okay.
So this means you have to commit yourself that you have to work towards those norms.
But do you think how serious are they? They are just talking about it?
No, they are very serious. Maybe I'm not able to, I say the forecast as of now, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years,
Right.
they will start asking the quarterly or the yearly report on the ESG
Absolutely.
compliance.
Okay.
They will start asking it. Today, they are asking for the financial. So what they are doing today? Today, they are checking your only financial prudence.
Right.
You have to share your balance sheet with your customers.
Right.
Because they do not want to end up into a situation that your supplier is going bankrupt and suddenly they find that the supplies are the problem. So financial prudence is being checked on regular basis. Every year we have to share the balance sheet with them. understand, they discuss with us if the problems are there. They guide, and even they put the pressure that okay, you make your ratios right. Right. Similar thing is going to come into the ESG compliance. So they will start questioning that why you are not ESG compliance according to these norms.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So these are the things which are going to be very serious in India. And it is not only this that it is being done only as a showcase. No.
Okay.
The way we are today, if we do not take the corrective measures to I say to save our environmental this one, हम कहते हैं 5 भूत, right? That आकाश, जल, अग्नि, वायु, आकाश. तो इसमें से जो है आकाश आपके हाथ में नहीं है और अग्नि आपके हाथ में नहीं है.
Okay.
इसलिए आप उसका कुछ नहीं कर पाए.
Okay.
But other 3, you had done your best to spoil it.
Okay.
Right.
Which these are?
Which means earth. You are degrading your soil.
Right.
Right. You are polluting your water. Right. And you are emitting the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Right. Okay. So if you will not do it, right, ultimately what will happen that your next generation may be able to survive on this earth.
Absolutely.
But after that, I don't think that earth will remain habitable for the human beings.
Right. So, Mr. Singla, when you make a case to your board, that we want to make this investment into solar or into wind solutions, one board always care that what is the ROI, right? Because obviously why they shouldn't be, because it's all about money, right? And because the investment should yield return, right? So one way to do is, okay, what are you saving इस साल में, 25 साल में कितना पैसा लग रहा है, payback, etc., which is very attractive. Right, because grid cost and the solar tariff cost or the open access cost is very attractive these days. So, do you also stand up and tell the board, fair enough, the ROI is let's say 60-80%, and do you also stand up and tell them, boss, 2030, 65% revenue is at risk, discount that and take a present value and then calculate the ROI?
I would say in it.
Have you done that first of all?
No, we have not.
But do you envisage to doing it?
No, we do not envisage to do it like this because we do not want to link our investments into the renewable energy and other clean initiatives like water and the zero waste to landfill. We do not want to link it to balance sheet in this manner.
Okay.
Because we knew that there are 2 types of things. One is you start thinking about your returns today and you start taking the action over that. That will be a wrong approach. Whenever you are doing these type of things, I think the strategy plays a very vital part. You have to think about 20 years ahead.
Okay.
Right. And if you know that after this time, these things are going to become mandatory for you.
Right.
If you'll start working early, it will be very easy for you at that time to mitigate those. If you'll start this exercise after 10 years when the government will be sitting on your head, I think you will not be able to think about anything except to put money even at the premium at that time. So we have not done these calculations in this manner.
Right.
But we had made our own commitments.
Okay.
That, like for example, we have the one process which is called the electroplating.
Okay.
And that is a very water incentive process.
Okay.
We were using 300,000 liters of water per day.
Okay.
300,000 liters of water per day. And we are discharging it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now, nobody told us that you go for the recycling of the water, because it was not, the government was also giving this one approval that, okay, after treatment, you can put it into the sewage.
Right.
Right. But we started thinking that today this is the problem. Today we have this, I say the approval,
right,
because of which we are doing it. But tomorrow, if the water will not be there, what we will do?
Absolutely.
Right. So we started.
So what is the next biggest problem?
So the biggest problem was that how you are going to make yourself into the zero water scenario.
Right.
So first was that you start working on the recycling.
Okay.
Right. So we decided ourselves, we committed ourselves that any new plant which will be put, so that will be on the 100% water recycling and zero discharge.
Okay.
So when we say the zero discharge, that is zero liquid discharge in real sense. That neither we will discharge this water onto the ground, even if I have 20 acres of land available.
So what do you tell to your board? So you tell, okay, One is that there is a payback.
Yeah.
You don't talk about revenue discount. Then you tell about the environmental benefit.
Environmental.
And that's what gives you
That's what give us the impute that we have to do it.
Okay.
Because when I say
Similar-
that if I will link it with the if I link it with my ROI,
Right.
ROI is the second aspect for us. If I link it with the ROI, what will happen is that we will never be able to take the decisions on those projects
Right.
where the ROI is delayed.
Absolutely.
Right.
Very valid point.
So ROI is delayed. So what we say is first you commit yourself to the greater cause, the bigger cause. The bigger cause is that you have to become the ESG compliant.
Absolutely.
And in ESG compliance, if some this one investment is to be done, better is do it early. By the time the other people will do, you will be way ahead of that.
Okay.
And the second strategy is that if you are green source, rather I say if polyplastic is the green source, so chances of getting the further business from the market increase multifold.
Right. And does it help? So right now, are you selling only in India or you're exporting your product?
We are exporting it, but in a very limited way. But we are planning to foray into export in a bigger way.
Okay.
And
so do you see that if your products are manufactured from a green electricity,
right,
does it help you enter the Western world?
100%.
Can you give me some example? Just a specific example.
For example,
did you have any conversation with the customer?
Yes,
he
we
said,
do have.
okay, if it is green, then talk to me. Otherwise, don't talk to me. Can you give me some example?
See, the particularly the automotive industry, the people are not so blunt.
Can you walk us through the situation? Some situation
it is something like this that maybe the few instances have come where there are the 2 or 3 suppliers who are contender for a particular business. Right. The person who is green, he will get the first priority.
How is it when you talk to them? Do they give some rating to green electricity?
Yes.
Or is it a eligibility criteria?
No. As of now, it is rating.
Okay.
As of now, it is
and
rating.
What do you think, like, if there are 5 things becoming 100%, how much is green electricity rating would be?
It's a equality. If I think 20% will be to that.
So you mean 20% rating है?
अगर 5 का नहीं मेरे कहने का पर्पस है कि भी because I am not able to remember how many parameters are there.
Okay.
But it is a great emphasis on the green supplier.
Okay.
When I talk about the green supplier, it is not only electricity. It is not only.
It's not only electricity.
It is not electricity.
It's the entire.
It is the entire
net zero.
So
which gets measured.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when you say that you are a green supplier, you have to be this one. I say the paper-free industry.
Right.
They propagate that you should not use the paper. They talk about how much solar energy you are producing or how much green energy you are procuring.
Okay.
They talk about the water recycling. So they talk about the VOC content, which should not be there.
What is VOC?
VOC is this one. Exactly, I do not know, but it is a content of interest which is related with the pollution.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So these type of things are there, and those suppliers, so they have a benchmarking. They will do the benchmarking of the supplier not only on the basis of price.
Okay.
So it's a combination of price. It is a combination of the green status that helps you to get the business. That helps you to get nominated from the business.
Understood. So, Singla sir, when you did your first project, leave 2010 because that was too earlier. Let's say latest first project. Which state was it?
The second project we did was in Bhiwadi.
Bhiwadi, which is Haryana.
That was again rooftop solution.
This was also rooftop solution. And how much was the capacity?
That was 470 kWp.
470 kW. Right. Again a rooftop solution.
A rooftop solution.
So this was in Haryana, right? So
it is in Rajasthan.
Bhiwadi is in Rajasthan, sorry. Right. So when you decided to go for this 470 kilowatt, now you would have concerns related to how does the regulations look like, how much capacity should I take, what will be the investment and payback, should I go for capex, opex. So with respect to regulations, what are the few parameters that you evaluated, 2-3 parameters, and why did you evaluate that and how did you get answer to that?
No, see, when we this one did the Bhiwadi plant, at that time the ESG regulations has not come into picture. It is again an old one, I think 2015, 2014 or 15. At that time the environmental regulations were not into picture.
Okay.
So that
No,
time,
I'm not talking about environment. I'm talking about regulation with respect to rooftop solutions. Like what kind of policies Haryana has? Does it have any kind of impact like net metering, etc.?
I think at that time also, we did it only to this one, I say, out of passion.
Out of passion.
Out of passion.
Okay.
We did not went into this that if we will be producing the electricity, we just thought that can be okay. What is the rooftop surface area available with us?
Okay, so this is one,
and what
surface
is the
area.
maximum surface area. And second was then first time we ventured into the OPEX model.
Okay, that's the first time you ventured into
OPEX model.
So you have done capex once,
Once.
and then you have done opex also.
OPEX once.
So which one would you recommend and why?
See, I would say that can be
One answer.
No.
Opex versus capex.
No, see, I have to see the cost benefit analysis in both now.
Okay.
Because when we are the whatever will be it'll be in the horizon of 7 to 10 years, whichever will be more beneficial, I think we should choose that model as far as the
What do you think
captive
which is
models.
more beneficial? If you have to advise to other leaders watching this, what would you advise?
No, there are a lot of factors.
I know there are, but one word advice that Mr. Singla would give.
Let me explain this because this is not a straightforward answer.
This is not a straightforward? Okay.
Straightforward answer to this.
Okay.
If you are a growing industry,
If you're a growing industry.
you have lot of contingencies which you have to handle. You have to think about your capacity expansion. You have to think about lot of other things. So all these things need capital. And capital in India is the most, I think, scarce thing in this because the cost of capital in India is very high. Right? So at that time, you have to decide that which is my priority. At that time, you have to decide what is my priority. Do I have what are the options available with me?
Okay.
So there, if I feel that can be okay, my capex do not allow me to go for the solar plant immediately. So probably rather than delaying it, I will go for the OPEX model.
Okay.
Right. But if I have the capex, I have the money. So I will try that. I will go for the capex model.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because OPEX and capex both are.
So it's all a factor of how much capital you have.
How much capital you have.
But can I tell you one very important fact here?
Yeah.
Google has, I think, probably $60-70 billion cash in their balance sheet.
Right.
And all the rooftop projects they do is under OPEX model. So they think little different, right?
I think the Google has the policy that they do not want to own any office also. They will take the offices also on lease rental basis.
Right. So their belief is...
Their belief is that they do not want to invest into the capital goods at all.
Okay.
Right.
So they want to be asset light.
They wanted to be very asset light.
Okay.
Because for them the assets are the manpower.
Right.
The most important asset for them is the manpower.
Right.
Of course, I don't say that for the people like this the manpower is not the asset, but we have to have the hard asset as well as the soft assets.
Right.
Both should be there.
Mr. Singla, can I ask you one personal question?
Yeah.
Right. You talk lot about environment. You seem very concerned, which is a very good thing. And then you talked about those 5 things. And then what does Mr. Singla on a personal day or on each day, what is the one thing that you do to offset the carbon emission from the environment? Any small step?
See, I try to travel by in the shared car in case it's an opportunity.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so I travel to that one, share with somebody that okay, let's go together.
And you do that frequently?
Not frequently because it do not become possible. But if I have the opportunity, I will do it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
If I have to go to market. If market is 1 kilometer away, so probably I will not pick up my car. I will go by walking.
Okay. And so that you do that?
That I do it regularly.
Okay.
So these type of things are there. On personal basis, you can do these things only. But on a higher level, you have to convince your management that they have to commit themselves towards the environmental aspect, and out of that, the solar energy automatically will come. Right. So let me go slightly deeper into details. India is one of the most fortunate country where you have the 300 sunny days.
Right, absolutely.
Right? You have a great potential as far as the solar energy is concerned. Unfortunately, you don't have that much of potential even in the hydropower as well as into your wind because wind is available only on the coastal areas.
Right. I agree.
The wind which is required for the proper amount of energy generation, that is available only in the coastal areas, and coastal area is limited to you.
Right.
Right. So when I talk about this, it is only the solar energy which God has given India abundantly.
Right.
But unfortunately, we were not able to tap it.
Absolutely.
We should have started tapping it maybe 20 to 30 years back. I was surprised to see the data that around 750 gigawatt capacity is available in India for the rooftop solutions.
Right.
Another 789 gigawatt is available from 2 to 3% of the wasteland which is available with India.
Okay.
Because when you go to the solar parks, right, you have to ensure that you are not using the land which is suitable for agriculture,
Right.
because otherwise you will end up into some different solution. But then I was surprised with the third data that India has a land which has degraded. And from that, the capacity you can generate is 1700 gigawatts.
Right.
Right. Word over, if I talk about the sun energy which is falling on the earth, that is 10,000 times more than what you require to run the entire world on electricity.
Right.
Right. So solar energy is one of the main aspect which is going to give you the easiest and the best solution as far as the renewable energy is concerned. Of course, there will be constraint. If you go to a Western country, somewhere these things are not there. Let me share one more example. I went to Netherlands last month.
Okay.
And I found out there are three things very unique there.
Versus India.
Not versus India, but unique in the world.
Okay. And this is respect to
With
renewable
respect
energy,
to-
environment.
With respect to the this one environment.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, they are using the solar energy in a big way. This wind energy in a big way, because the entire this one northern coast is the windy.
Right.
Wind is abundantly available.
Right.
Right. Number one. Despite the fact that there the potential of solar energy will be lower than the tropical countries, because there in winter sometime the days become shorter, and even the sometimes for a month time you do not see the sun god.
Right.
But still people have started installing the solar panels there. So when I see this, I feel that they are more conscious about the environment than we people, than this one India.
Right.
So if they are able to do it, if they are doing it, and we have a great potential, then why can't we do it?
Absolutely.
Right. So here it comes that when we say about if I'll start thinking about this, I have to think only in the terms of investment. So probably somewhere I will start dithering. Some other commitment will come. So you will say, okay, don't do this investment, do this investment. We do not want to land up into that situation. So we had committed ourselves that we are going to go for the 50% of renewable energy by 2027.
Okay.
We have to do it.
Absolutely.
ठीक है ना?
Now you have a revenue pressure also.
Now we have the revenue pressure
Right.
also. And moreover, today it is giving me saving. Tomorrow, yes, it may happen that it has stopped giving me saving.
Right.
But I do believe that the government at least will ensure that there is a minimum saving even when you are using the solar energy. So their norms may be that today you are saving 3 rupees or 3 rupees 50 paisa per unit. It may reduce. It may reduce to 1 rupee. It may reduce to 50 paisa. But
Right.
even if it comes at 50 paisa, still you are doing a great job as far as your environment is concerned.
Absolutely.
Right. So you should not consider this investment in terms of your ROI. You should consider this investment as a strategy towards the environment, safety on the longer horizon.
Agreed.
Right.
Mr. Singla, you've done rooftop, multiple locations, right? Recently, you've done open access solar PPA
Right.
for your Maharashtra plant.
Right.
What are top two differences between these two solutions, according to you? And how did your internal process was different versus, getting rooftop approvals from your board and the open access? What are the top two differences that you can see?
Right. When I talk about the comparison between the rooftop and the open access, so rooftop solution always will have limitations, because no industrialist would like to waste his land in the ground mounted solar power plant.
Okay. And why do you say?
Because the land is the most precious thing in India. The cost is very high.
Okay.
So this means the first and the easiest solution is that you use your rooftops, because they are the best solution, because there you don't have to do anything. Right. You cannot use those roofs. So if you are not able to use those roofs, so use that for the solar energy.
Right.
So if you think about the rooftops, so you will have the limitations in terms of how much energy you can produce or how much energy you can use.
Okay.
So that limit, if you wanted to mitigate that limitation, then you have to think about the open access.
So one is the limitation part, and what is the second difference that you saw?
Second difference is that in the open access, your this one the efforts will be less. It will be one time effort. After that, the responsibility shifts totally towards the energy supplier. So you don't have to do anything else except to note the readings every month. But in the rooftop solution, even though you will give this to the single window system or other people, but still you have to monitor these on regular basis. There you do not even need to do the monitoring. The monitoring has to be done by the open access people. So this is the difference.
So if you have to recommend to other industrial consumers whether they should go for rooftop, open access, combination, and what are the parameters basis which they should decide कि rooftop कितना करना है, open access कितना करना है, कब करना है, क्यों करना है, what would you advise?
See, what I will say is that when an industrialist or a person who has to decide that what he is going to do about his solar solutions or the renewable energy solutions, the first and foremost aspect is that he has to understand that what are his commitments.
Okay. Which means what?
Which means that according to the norms of 50% norms which are coming.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
वो है.
हाँ.
ठीक है. Then let's say there is a commitment. There is a competitor of you.
Yeah.
Right. Who is also selling to the same customer.
Right.
Have commitment because उसका revenue भी चला जाएगा.
Right.
And savings, there is a savings on the table.
Right.
Now, what are the steps that he should take? Like, should he go for rooftop first, open access first, combination? What would you advise? This is your experience.
I think he should go for the combination of
combination. Okay. And then
combination of this one open access as well as the rooftop solutions. But yes, ultimately it is his prerogative that in rooftop whether he wanted to do the investment himself or he wanted to go through the OPEX model.
Right. Okay.
That again, which I explained earlier, that will depend upon his the capex capacity. If he has the capacity, he can go for the captive plant. If we do not have the capacity to invest immediately, he should go for the OPEX model.
Right.
But as far as the rooftops are concerned, I think in open access, the amount of the investment is not very high. In the open access, the amount of this
the equity you are talking about, no? Because you have to put 26% equity.
You have to put
project. If the project cost is like obviously higher.
Yeah.
Right. Because jameen bhi hai. Evacuation infrastructure
but in
hai.
Open access, you yourself are not doing it. Na? You are using it through the third party.
Fair enough, but you can do both. Na? You can set up your own project.
No, there is no need of setting up the own.
There is no need to set up on.
See, if the industry has to focus it on core business.
Very valid point.
The industry has to focus on the core business. Right. If you will start venturing into each and everything, so probably the core activities will take a hit.
Right.
Why should I venture into producing the energy myself?
Right.
If somebody else is producing and supplying me, and he is supplying me at a viable cost, so I should go for that solution. Right.
So I met a lot of industrial consumers over the last 5 years, probably somewhere around more than 500 customers. Then one of the, some of the customers said, that we get teased that how does the developers make money, right? For example, you signed a PPA, right? You are paying, let's say, 3.5 rupees tariff, right? You get teased. Why can't I set up with my own money and pay a zero tariff? Do you also get teased sometime?
No. We never think about this.
Okay.
See, we always feel that my business model is different. Right. I have to first focus on my core activities.
Right.
If I'll deviate from that, tomorrow somebody will get teased that you should do your transportation yourself. Transportation हर एक बिजनेस में चाहिए.
Right.
कल को कोई आदमी कहेगा कि आप ट्रक भी खुद खरीदो और खुद चलाओ.
But धंधे वाला तो सोचेगा ही ना.
But there is no end to this. Day after tomorrow you will say, okay, packaging भी मैंने खुद बनानी है. So that is not the solution. How many things you will do yourself? how many things you will do yourself? You have to develop your business model where you keep yourself the lean capex. आपका अपना capex lean होना चाहिए.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So you should do only those activities which are most essential for you to sustain your business yourself.
Right.
Rest
Very
of
well
the
put.
activities,
Google
according
thought
to me,
process.
huh?
Google thought process.
Google thought process. Rest of the activity you should outsource it. Now, why should I bother that person is making money? He is investing also. He is investing in land. He is investing in the equipment. Then he is giving you the commitment for 15 years or 20 years. So that commitment also is a cost to him.
Right.
Right. So if somebody is thinking in these cases, I'm getting teased that person is making money, it is something, I say, a jealousy. Nothing else. भाई सामने वाला क्या कमा रहा है वो मेरा प्रेरोगेटिव नहीं है. सामने वाला मेरे को कितना बचा के दे रहा है, that is my prerogative. So I should think in those terms that how much money I am saving through the open access. I should not think कि how much money he is making and I should do my open access again. तो फिर क्या फायदा हुआ?
Right. Right.
So that is not a business sense at all.
Right. So, Mr. Singla, I know that you've recently closed open access, right? And you have evaluated multiple developers, then shortlisted one.
Right.
So, I just want to know, like, how was the experience? Like, what are the factors that you considered? Right. What would you advise the other industrial consumer? What are the factors that they should consider?
Right.
Because from the outside, every developer looks same.
Right.
Right? ये भी प्रोजेक्ट लगा रहा है, ये भी प्रोजेक्ट लगा रहा है, ये भी बिजली दे रहा है, ये भी बिजली दे रहा है.
Right.
Right? पेपर पे कोई 3 रुपए दे रहा है, कोई 3 रुपए 20 पैसे दे रहा है. How will, like, that confuses the mind, right? So how will you shortlist? How did you do it? And what would you advise?
Let me first again start this from the strategy point of view.
Okay.
Any agreement which is a long-term agreement, it has to be reviewed very critically, because long-term agreements have a detrimental effect. It will hit you in a big way in case you are not able to I say consider all the pros cons right in the beginning.
Very valid point.
Right.
I like this statement, hit you in a big way.
Hit you in a big way. Number one. See, the second point is, the first is this, you have to understand that it is a long-term commitment, and in long-term commitment, you have to be very careful, very careful, because long-term commitment cannot be made at the drop of a hat. Right. So the first and foremost is, let me say that what I was looking forward when we started thinking about the open access.
Okay. So walk me through the developer shortlisting process.
Let me first explain. The first was that this was a new concept for us.
Okay.
Right? And we were not the expert in this.
Okay.
But our strategy was that we only knew one thing, that this contract is not going to be a short term.
Right.
There is going to be long-term contracts.
Absolutely.
So our first worry was that we should not land up into a situation which backfires us in the span of 10 years or 15 years or even 5 years.
Absolutely.
So this means
Absolutely.
I need to develop the expertise for that. That how I will be able to evaluate it.
Right.
Now, if I'll start developing the expertise myself, I may take minimum 2 years to develop those.
Right.
I have to hire the people. I have to do many things.
Right.
So that we thought that, okay, if the people in the market are available, why don't we try this?
Right.
Number one, first is that we choose the right consultant for this job.
Right.
That was the first step.
Right.
Second is now once you had chosen the consultant, right? The consultant credentials are something that you have to assess.
Absolutely.
Based on your knowledge, based on your reference, because there once you will work, only then you will be able to understand that what type of person is.
I agree.
That is. So that is the first small risk, I say, that when you are choosing the consultant, at least understand the credentials or this one testimonials from the people that these are the people who are good.
Absolutely.
The person may give you the name of 10 persons. Then after that you have to do your own calculations or own interaction with the people, and this first you should be able to choose I say the intelligent consultant. Right, that is the first step.
I like this word, intelligent consultant.
Right.
Okay.
So this is the first step. The second step is then you have to guide the consultant that what you are looking forward, because he is going to work in that way.
Right.
He may give you the input, but ultimately the veto power lies with you.
Absolutely.
Right. So he will give you the guidance. He will try to give you the things. Then you have to evaluate what he is saying is correct or what he is कहाँ पे मैंने उसकी बात माननी है और कहाँ पे मैंने जो है मतलब अपना
So
दिमाग
you
चलाना है।
shortlisted intelligent consultant. Now next.
The next was that we gave the clear mandate to the consultant that our focus will be first on the credentials of the developer,
Okay.
and second will be on the cost.
So credentials means?
Credential means the developer has to have a long-term sustainability. Developer has to have a long-term sustainability.
Which means क्या?
Which means
पैसा होना चाहिए balance sheet
No,
में?
no, वो गुबारा नहीं होना चाहिए कि गुबारा नहीं होना
What does
चाहिए
that mean?
कि भी
That's a
5 साल
nice word. गुबारा means what?
See, the means के भी उसने जो है मतलब आपको सब कुछ कमिटमेंट दे दी, लेकिन आपने ना उसका जाके कुछ चेक किया ना कुछ और किया, ठीक है ना, आपने उसके साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लिया तो फंस गए. Right. So this is the consultant has to do. So
Right.
when I'm saying that long term, this one sustainability, so there is a scientific method.
Okay.
I think Infinia has done it in a very beautiful manner that we took 5 or 7 parameters. We rated each and every one
Right.
on those parameters.
Right.
Out of 15, we selected 5. Out of selected, we selected 2. Out of 2, now when Infinia has given only the 2 persons, okay, these 2 are the persons according to us who have credentials in the market, who have the good sustainability.
Right.
So when Infinia has done it, probably they had done all the due diligence, like, and I think those documents are available with us.
Right.
Maybe the 20 parameters were there. So you had done the diligence. After diligence, the 2 persons have come. Now it is the 2 who are equal.
So
Right.
on a credibility you choose, and then you
No, let me give the answer.
Okay.
Where your veto comes.
Huh.
Now there were 2 persons. I do not want to take the name of those.
Don't. Let's go.
So there
because
are
you
2
don't know which one is Gubara.
Yeah.
So रहने दो.
So there were 2 persons who came equal in the credentials. Now here it is the wisdom of the businessman or the company.
Right.
We interviewed both the persons. We interacted with both the persons. Right. And I presume that the decision which we took, ठीक है ना, that also has a psychological part.
Okay.
Like the psychological part was
Very good point. So psychological means
that which person will match with our company's business policy.
okay.
Which person out of these 2 will match with my company's business policy.
Right.
The one company may have a business policy that they will be highly professional. The second company may think, okay, yaar, professional, 50% professionalism is okay, but I wanted to maintain the relationship also.
Okay.
So in those cases, what happens is each and every company work on their own internal systems. उनकी internal एक philosophy होती है. My company's philosophy was that I wanted to work with the people, the person that who will be having a philosophy of the business like ours.
Okay.
Right. So out of those 2, which one was falling near to our company policy, we had chosen that. Right. So that is not in the consultant's hand, that is not in somebody else's hand, that is in your own hand. That के भी जब 2 आदमी आपके पास बिल्कुल एक जैसे आ गए हैं, ठीक है ना, and probably fortunately the person which we choose, he was having a equal credentials in terms of commercials also. Commercials में भी जो है हमें जो है मतलब commercials में benefit मिला, ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं मिला, but अगर मान लो suppose दोनों के commercial में 1-2% का फर्क भी होता, फिर भी हम उसी को चूज करते जिसके साथ हमारी business policy मैच करती है.
तो अभी मेरी क्यूरियोसिटी बहुत बढ़ गई है.
हाँ.
2 पे आ गए आप.
हाँ.
ठीक है. अब इन दोनों के बीच में हाउ डिड यू शॉर्टलिस्ट?
I shortlisted on the basis of only 2 parameters. Investment.
इन्वेस्टमेंट मींस आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट.
हाँ, our investment, equity investment. Number 2 was this के भी मतलब there should not be a very high differential between the tariff, right?
Okay.
The tariff. And third was the non-negotiable terms and conditions. Okay. Because when you say the non-negotiable terms and
so
conditions,
they both were same at credibility.
They were not same at credibility finally.
Okay.
Because even though both were same in terms of commercials, in terms of equity and in terms of the tariff, they were almost similar.
Okay.
But when it comes to the terms and conditions, we have chosen that the person who has shown the flexibility with us.
Okay.
Right. So the person who was more flexible in the terms and conditions. So we had tried to choose that.
Okay.
Number 2.
Okay.
Number 3 was that after that, when you are developing the agreement, now one says you had chosen the supplier, आपने सारा काम कर लिया, consultant ने अपना काम कर दिया. Now you have to go to the third stage, that is that reinforcing your agreement.
Mr. Singla, just 1 minute before we go to the agreement. So if I have to summarize, for the audience. So one is the credibility.
Right.
The other is the tariff, which is techno-commercial clauses.
Right.
And then third is the non-negotiable clauses. So these are the three parameters that you chose, and basis this, you decided your final developer.
No. Fourth was the business policy of the developer.
Business policy of the developer. Okay. So that comes as a 4 parameters to shortlist a developer.
shortlist a
Understood. Understood. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to the terms.
Now let us go to the next step. Now everything is done. I think the consultant's role stops there, because after that he cannot do anything.
Right.
He has helped you to develop the good terms.
Right.
Term sheet आपकी sign हो गई है.
हाँ.
After that, then you have to go to a
PPA.
PPA. And before PPA, you have to sign the binding agreement. Right.
Right.
That agreement, of course, because if it is a long-term agreement, it will have the lot of legal clauses.
Absolutely.
Lot of legal clauses. Right. And understanding of those legal clauses, if you have your own legal department, probably it is okay. You can get it vetted through them.
Right.
But if you do not have your own legal department, it is always better to hire a legal consultant and ensure that the agreement which is being signed for the long-term basis, it has to be balanced. Again, I'm using the word balanced because if you do not create a balanced agreement, the agreement will not run for a longer time.
Right.
If one partner is weak in that, the other partner is strong in that,
Right.
the weak partner always will feel that he was penalized.
Right.
And at the given point of time, whenever he will have the opportunity, he will try to exit out of that.
Absolutely.
Right. So इसलिए it is utmost important that in long-term agreements, the agreements has to be balanced.
So
in
you're
such
saying the solar PPA that you have signed should be win-win for both the parties.
win-win for both the
It
parties.
should not be lose-win or win-lose. Because
Exactly.
either side,
Exactly.
it's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
So how did you ensure that? Okay. Can you walk me through some example, any terms that you signed up and made it win-win? Any term, like
See,
maybe tariff, savings
no,
guarantee, etc. Anything.
No, it is not like this. Yes, okay, let us take the example of saving guarantees. If you say that, okay, somebody told that, okay, saving guarantee will be आज की डेट में अगर मैं बात करता हूं तो मुझे ₹3.5 पर यूनिट बचता है, राइट?
Right.
₹3 per unit. I am this.
ये कहाँ पर?
Maharashtra. When I go for the PPA in Maharashtra, it may be a ₹3. Again, it will depend.
जो भी आपने like the one that you concluded.
It will depend upon the DISCOM tariff, but
Absolutely.
3-3.5
आज की डेट में है.
आज की डेट में आता है. But if I start pressing that person that okay, ये तो मैं ₹3 की गारंटी लेना चाहता हूँ, तो वो तो फिर बैलेंस एग्रीमेंट नहीं ना हुआ.
Balance नहीं हुआ. Right.
Right. So then you have to see that what is the trend in the market, what are the norms, what are his risk, what are your risk.
Right.
Right. So you have to give him the hedging against his risk mitigation.
So how much did you sign up?
Normally,
Can you disclose?
I think it will not be better to disclose, but I think
But a range
should not be more than 10 to 12%.
Okay. Of the delta?
Of the DISCOM tariff.
Of the discount tariff.
डिस्काउंट टैरिफ से अगर आपको अब आप डिस्काउंट टैरिफ से आज आपको 35% बच सकता है, कल को ना बचा तो आपका वो जो मतलब वो बेचारा इन्वेस्टमेंट करके तो काम खराब हो जाएगा ना
Right.
उसका.
Very
So
valid
this means that's why I'm telling you, when you are discussing about these terms, you have to think about both the parties, yourself and his interest.
Right.
And when you are matching these interests, there will be a matching point. So when you will be matching these interests, so that is what is called the balance agreement.
Right. Very valid point.
Right.
No, I really liked it, like win-win approach rather than squeezing another party. That doesn't work. Because even if it works, that's gonna cause you a lot of pain.
In long-term agreements, I think squeezing will be a wrong strategy. Long-term agreements have to be, ठीक है ना, a win-win situation for both the companies.
Right.
And then you have to develop the confidence with each other. And first step towards developing the confidence is a balance agreement.
Right.
If the agreement is balanced, then your relationship will develop in future, it will flourish. Right. But अगर शुरू में ही अपना agreement ऐसा बना लिया, that person से इसमें तो मैं फंस गया, but next वाले मैं इससे काम नहीं करूँगा.
Right.
ठीक है ना?
Right.
So that approach will be wrong. So I think this is one of the main strategic aspect that long-term contracts have to be, ठीक है ना, reviewed very critically and get it done through the professionals. Do not try to do it yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Unless you're expert about it.
Unless you're expert. And third benefit is that...
You know, this reminds me of a very famous, I recently did a, post also. Virat Kohli plays the best cricket.
Right.
And so does the gully boy also plays the cricket. Tell me who has a coach? Virat Kohli.
Virat
right?
Kohli.
Because he's playing for the best.
He's playing for the best. That's right. That's right.
That's why he's a $1 billion brand
That's right.
today.
That's right.
Right? He knows the value of having a coach or consultant who can make him accountable, who can bring the best. It's not about like Virat Kohli doesn't know the cricket or Gully Boy knows the cricket better.
There is one more aspect. See, that is about the engagement of the consultant as well as the legal advisor.
Right.
For both the things. See, when you engage a consultant, he is also working for both the companies. He is also working for you as a client, and he is also working for that person as a supplier.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So when there is a third party in between, your relationship always is on the balance way, because consultant will try to ensure that this person gets the business and you also get the benefits. If I will be doing that interaction directly, so probably the confidence factor utna nahi aata.
Right.
If there is a umpire in between, so you always feel okay, this person is telling for his benefit also, for this benefit also. So consultant plays a very vital part in that. Right.
I like this word, umpire in between.
Umpire in between. And similar is the true for the legal consultant. Your legal consultant is there, his legal consultant is there. So let both of them spoil the relation with each other.
Right.
But you as a entity and me as a entity, why we should try to fight with each other initially?
Right.
Let I use the word that the legal consultants are like your horses in the war. ठीक है ना? So let them fight first. ठीक है ना? Once they will come to the conclusion, after that conclusion will be acceptable to you also and acceptable to other person also.
Okay.
So these are the few of the things which will be required when you will be going for the PPAs, and the business leaders have to take care of that.
Right. So, Mr. Singla, tell me one more thing. So, you have shortlisted developers, scientific process. You have clearly told step-by-step things to be done, negotiated the terms. Now, do you also get anxious that because this is an infrastructure project, there are committed timelines by the developer to give you project, let's say 4 months, 6 months, and they might delay it because, let's say, the approval didn't come, land didn't happen, or evacuation infrastructure couldn't get set up. Do you get anxious sometime?
No.
And if you get anxious, how do you mitigate that?
No. Number one is this, that if you have done the due diligence through your consultant properly, why you should be anxious? All those things are to be mapped by the consultant right in the beginning.
Right.
हाँ, मैं ये जरूर कहूँगा कि
Even if it is mapped, the delays are beyond the control. No. So anything that you think about.
So this is what I told about the credentials of the developer.
Okay.
This is what I told.
So that you have done it before signing the PPA.
That I have to do it before signing the PPA.
But how will you do it? Tell me the steps. Like you will visit the site?
No, not necessarily. If my consultant if I have the confidence in my consultant and if he visits, right, then it is okay.
So, but I mean to say, you or your consultant, like this due diligence is necessary before that.
See, due diligence is necessary before that. That is something that you have to decide whether you wanted to physically see the site or you do not want to physically see the site. I think that will depend upon the circumstances. If the site is already operational, right? Sometime you can believe in the photographs, but if the site is not operational, it is only a land. You can ask for the papers of the land and you can see that. If the land papers are not available, so probably you have to wait. Then you have to give the weightage to somebody else. So all these things should get covered in the due diligence, and after that, having the anxiety means you will be spoiling your health.
Right.
And for that, you are paying the money to your consultant and your legal advisor. आप अपनी anxiety के लिए थोड़ी पैसे दे रहे हो.
Right.
ठीक है ना? So that is the job the consultant has to do.
Okay.
That is the job the legal advisor has to do. If the after that, if everything is done and after that the things do not happen in the proper way, then I will say the choice of consultant was wrong. That he was not able to gauge this.
Right.
और फिर अगर मैंने ही सारा कुछ करना है, फिर मुझे consultant की जरूरत क्या है?
Right. So, Mr. Singla, before this episode of podcast, we had a episode with a gentleman who was the vice president operations and another sustainability leaders like yourself. He was responsible for doing 13 out of their 18 plants moved to renewable energy, and that is India's #1 electronics company. And during the discussion with him, he said, Gaurav, all of this is good for company, but I want to tell you one fact, that it has helped me as a professional also get lot of limelight in front of the management, in front of the promoters, in front of the board, and also help me meet my KRAs, and also help me meet, get good appraisals, etc. Though the appraisals at this level doesn't matter much. So, Mr. Singla, did you also experience something like this? Because see, why I'm asking this, obviously people who are watching this are working at a level that you are working at the top level, right? And probably they want to, okay, see, at this age of yours and other people, the appreciations like this, the contributions like this matter the most than anything else. So did you also, can you walk me through example
Let me-
that Mr. Gupta of Polyplastic would have
let me-
appreciated you or something like that? Can you give me that?
I will answer this question in a different manner. Number
Okay.
one is our company is a small company as far as the organization structure is concerned.
Right.
Right. It's a close-knitted family business. We have both our managing director and joint managing director. And under him, we are 3 or 4 key persons in the organization who are fully authorized to take the decisions.
Okay.
Right.
Understood.
They do not indulge into the day-to-day activities.
Understood.
And having worked in a particular organization for such a longer time, I think I'm working as a owner rather than as a employee.
Absolutely. Right.
So when I'm working as a owner and not as an employee, my first self appreciation is this, that I'm taking the decision and that decision is beneficial to company. So
Okay.
that is the first thing which gives me a boost.
Very well thought process.
As far as my management is concerned, so they are always appreciative.
Okay.
The first appreciation from them is they are saying, Sanjeev, do whatever you want and we believe in you.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So larger organization will have the appraisal system and other systems, but
Yeah.
we, unfortunately, I will say that we have not that type of system. And if we are doing something, it is always a collective decision. Of course, we do discuss.
Okay.
Right. Before we venture into something, we do discuss. So there you have to discuss only the peripherals.
Right.
ठीक है ना?
But Mr. Singla, like you showed that path to your organization, right?
No,
For example,
I don't say no.
Okay.
I don't say that I showed the path to the organization. It was the path which organization has chosen.
But you executed that path, no?
We only executed.
So that execution itself matters, right?
Right.
Even if the path is shown by the organization, but you led that execution,
Right.
you have reached 19%, 20% renewable energy.
Right.
Your company is about to get a 2 CR saving per annum, right? As a leader like you must be feeling proud, right? And this sense of pride might be getting translated to the people who are at the promoter level. That energy level would have been different, right? I'm not saying appraisal per se, but the energy between the...
I think the moral, which is the moral. If I talk about my moral is high, not because that I will be saving 2 crore या 4 crore या 10 crore रुपए saving. मुझे इसमें कोई मजा नहीं आता. What I am enjoying is that how much carbon dioxide I am mitigating.
Okay.
ठीक है ना?
So which is 19%.
Which is 19%. और अगर आज की डेट में मैं उसको जो है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में कन्वर्ट करता हूँ तो शायद मैं जो है 5300 मीट्रिक टन ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड पर ईयर आई विल बी मिटिगेटिंग. सो दैट इज द फैक्टर which is motivating me, and that motivation has been percolated down to us from our management.
Okay.
ठीक है ना? So that is the difference. So there is a board decision. Here it is not the board decision, but it is the decision of the proprietors. How they think.
Right.
ठीक है ना?
Right.
अब उन्होंने अगर ये डिसाइड किया है कि भी नहीं हमने जो है मतलब for them also it is this कि when they are sitting into the society and if their company is green, so it gives a lot of impute to them, lot of respect in the market.
Right.
ऐसा नहीं है कि भी अगर आप किसी को बताते हो कि भी मैं ग्रीन सप्लायर हूँ और मैं 20% एनर्जी रिन्यूएबल में कन्वर्ट कर चुका हूँ, nobody will think about the money at that stage.
Right.
Everybody has started thinking that this thinking change has come from the environmental issues which we are facing.
Right.
So people have started seeing you with respect.
Right.
That okay, this person is doing something for the next generation.
Right.
Right. तो सबसे बड़ा motivating factor तो यही है.
Respect is the word.
Respect is the word. You are being seen with the respect if you are doing these things in your business.
So 19%, right? walked this path, learned so much, right? Must be very curious to reach 50%, 60%, 80%.
No. Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So, what
yes,
is the way
yes.
forward?
See,
And how are you directionally thinking about it?
what we are thinking is that this particular the Maharashtra PPA was the first PPA which we had done,
Which means the open access.
open access, and we have the limited capabilities as far as the rooftop solutions are concerned.
Right, because of the space.
Because of the space, and I do not want to waste my space into the development of solar parks, because I have a business growth for which I will be requiring the new plants. So that land will be required for my new plants. I cannot I say the mitigate that land to my this one solar projects. So this means the rooftop solutions, whatever are available, we will complete it.
By when? Is there any
maybe,
deadline?
Maybe deadline is that by this one next 6 months.
Next 6 months.
Next 6 months, maybe
Okay.
September 2024, not 25. We will complete our rooftop solutions.
Okay. And that will take you to where?
That will-
Somewhere like 10% more?
That will take, in terms of how much will be there, I am not able to calculate
Okay,
now, but
okay.
another 1000 kilowatt we will be
Another
adding.
1000 kilowatt.
1000 kilowatt we
Okay.
will be adding. After that, the rooftop solutions will be exhausted with us until unless we build up a new plant.
Understood.
If we will be building a new plant right from the day one, we will go into the rooftop solar power plant as a capex only.
Okay.
As a capex के शुरू में ही उसको लगाएंगे, ताकि जो है, और हमारे पास ये जो है directions भी
So
हैं.
whenever you are setting up a new plant,
We will-
you will provision it,
We will provision the
which is a good point, which is a very valid point. हाँ.
So उसी में provision डाल के चलेंगे
Okay.
कि
So
rooftop.
this I got the clarity.
Yeah.
So rooftop first,
Then after that, this is the first Pune, this one open access. As soon as it get matured, after this agreement is signed, so then we will be reviewing all our this one regions for the next this one. I say the cycle of PPA agreement.
Okay. Okay.
Next cycle of PPA agreements.
So which is, do you have any deadline, any timelines that you're thinking?
My timeline is 2027 is the dead date for us, target date for us. But if this can be done easily and the investment we are able to make it in the equity of 26%, which we have to do.
Right.
So probably we would like to finish it in next 1 year time.
1 year.
All the units. That means Haryana, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Tamil Nadu, wherever are our plants.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So you already have a clear path to reach 50% by 2027, and you look very confident to achieve that.
Like for
right?
example, the study which we had done for our Chennai plant.
Yeah.
There, because of the different scenarios, maybe we will be able to achieve 85%.
Right.
But Pune, we will be achieving 64%.
That's beautiful. That's
Right.
wonderful.
So maybe in other plants, our target will be that bare minimum 50% we should be able to get from the renewable energy. So 50% of that means solar power plant, rooftop solution, and PPA should give us the minimum 50%. But if through PPA I am able to get the more energy, so there is no harm in that. There is no harm in that. That is added benefit to me.
Okay. Understood. And all the best to you for achieving this target, and for also, reaching that goal of 50% by 2027. We wish that you reach far higher goal much faster,
Right.
and keeping this sustainability environment first and the money later.
But there is only one point which wanted to add here, that if we wanted to achieve the zero, net zero by 2070, which is the India's target, it cannot be done alone by the industry or by the people.
Right.
The government commitment has to come with this.
Right.
Like today, what is happening is that the energy which the government is producing, so they have to start thinking about that when they will convert their own energy producing plants, means the coal-based plants or the gas-based plants into a green energy plants. Second is, country is same, right? The solar energy is almost same across all the states, maybe barring that the few states like Himachal and Jammu and Kashmir may be having a slightly deficit, but we have the same energy which is falling on the earth, and that is that do not differentiate that where it is falling less or where it is falling high. It is only the political structure which has to understand that we are doing this not for the fancy purpose, but we are doing it for our country itself. So all these, I think the use of solar energy norms through open access should be uniform across the country.
Right. Right.
If until unless it is not there, it will not propagate the people to go for the open access in an open mind.
Right.
Because ये डिफरेंशियल नहीं आना चाहिए, तमिलनाडु में लगाता हूँ तो ज़्यादा बेनिफिट होता है, गुजरात में लगाऊंगा तो बेनिफिट कम होगा. वाई इट शुड बी.
Right.
ठीक है ना. इफ द नॉर्म्स आर, इफ द रेगुलेशंस आर यूनिफॉर्म,
Right.
then it will be very easy for the people like us to convince the management that okay, go at all places. Otherwise you will start thinking Tamil Nadu में लगाओ, वहाँ पे benefit ज़्यादा आता है, यहाँ पे लगाओ, यहाँ पे नहीं, यहाँ पे benefit नहीं है, मत लगाओ.
Right.
So that type of thing should not be there. So I'm not able to understand why these rules and regulations are different in different states. So if they become equal, they become मतलब parity है सब में, तो शायद जो है it will help the business people to take the decision in a faster manner.
Right. I agree. Right. So, Mr. Singla, we have a ritual that we do a rapid fire round, and rules are very simple. I'll ask you 7-8 questions, probably 10 maximum, and then you have to pick one.
Okay.
Answer should come out in 5 to 7 seconds.
So you will give me the choices also?
I'll give you the choices also, don't worry.
Right.
And this is just to spark up the energy, to make you smile, to make the audience smile.
problem.
There is no other intention behind this.
No problem.
It's just to spark up the energy, and it'll have mix of personal.
Right.
But don't get into logic, whatever is in top of
I
your
will
mind,
not
just
go
bring it
into
out.
logic. Right.
So, shall I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Solar or wind?
Solar.
Renewable energy goals or cost saving goals? Which one would you pick?
Renewable energy goals.
Okay. Solar tariff of INR 3 रुपए का tariff या power delivery 2 महीने में? Which one will you pick?
Power delivery 2 महीने में.
Okay, good. Number one advice that you want to give to another corporate leaders who are switching to renewable energy. Just one advice.
Be committed.
Be committed. Okay, I like this one. So, in open access, the one that you have done, would you go for captive structure or third party?
I will go for third party.
So, capex or opex?
OPEX.
Number one challenge that you faced.
Start.
What does that mean? Start the journey.
Start the journey.
Okay. So, start button में दिक्कत हो रही है.
Start button में दिक्कत आई शुरू में because our knowledge was limited.
तो start होने के बाद gear लगते गए.
Gear लग गया.
अब चलते जा रहे हैं.
Now it will go. It will run on the full speed.
Number one misconception that people had about renewable energy solutions.
Investment.
Wow, I liked it. Investment, right? It's the return or it is the environment which matters the most, right?
It's environment which matters the most.
So one advice that you would give to new generation, let's say the generation which is there, one advice that you will give to them with respect to renewable energy.
Go for it wherever it is possible.
Go for it wherever it is possible. Awesome. Work from office or work from home?
Work from office.
And why?
Work from home will become very dull after some time. When you go to work from office, you meet a lot of people. You engage with so many people.
Right.
You get the right different things to know.
Absolutely.
Work from home is, I say, is a disease.
Is a disease. I like this one.
Right.
It's a disease. E-meeting or physical meeting?
Physical meeting.
Okay.
You never knew the emotions in e-meetings.
Right. Right. One word to describe the future of renewable energy. One word.
It is going to save the world.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Awesome. And one motto in your life, in your personal life?
Be minimalistic.
Okay.
Means I would like that I should be remembered as a person that he was the least consumer.
Okay.
चाहे वो खाना है, चाहे वो जो है मतलब I should leave this earth by this one I say by putting the minimum weight over it.
Okay.
तो मिनिमलिस्टिक का मतलब है कि भी आप जो है खाना छोड़ देते हो, खराब कर देते हो, वो भी जो है मिनिमलिस्टिक में नहीं.
And you live that?
I live that.
Okay. And biggest inspiration for you so far? Something that inspires you every day or inspires you every moment? Who do you get inspiration from?
No, I think I get inspired by Modi.
By Modi.
Mr.
Okay.
Prime Minister Modi.
Okay.
He is, the politics is a very different game, but still.
What is the one thing that you get inspired from him?
He commits and he do it.
He commits and do it. Okay. And one book that every leader should read. One book.
One book which every leader should read it, I think Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. And why? What it has to do with leadership?
if you will read Bhagavad Gita, so probably you will understand that business is not the only thing in the world. ठीक है ना? And you will get a lot of ideas that how to apply them in your business.
Okay.
So it's something that Bhagavad Gita teaches you the complete philosophy of life.
And what is the one thing that you derive from Bhagavad Gita?
Do not bother about the results.
And what do you bother about?
Do your job.
Do your
duty.
Do your duty.
Do your duty.
Right.
Do not
Commit
bother
to
about
your...
it. Commit. Give your 100%.
Give your 100%.
Gita says give your 100% and do not bother about what is going to be the outcome. The outcome is not in your hand,
Right.
but the action is there in your hand.
Absolutely.
I think that is one of the best management lesson which the Gita teaches the people.
Right. You're absolutely right. I think this is the best management lesson.
So best management.
This is something that we keep teaching on our
Yeah.
teams as well, right? To commit to the things.
It should not happen कि भी आप आज ये काम कर रहे हो और बोल दो कि नहीं मेरे को रिजल्ट जो है शाम को ही चाहिए, नहीं आता. So you give your 100%. After that, why you are bothered?
Good. I think thank you, Mr. Singla, for sharing your insights, inspiring the other people who are watching renewable energy closely, industrialists who are at the end of making decision. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Probably one of the best podcasts that I ever had, and there were moments which were too inspiring during the conversation. And thank you for walking us and giving the environment the most important benefit than the cost saving.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, and I do hope that this podcast will reach to the right people and it will help them to take the decision in a faster manner. So that will be one of the more achievement for me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.